Moving forward, I'll talk about how to set up and record a sine sweep using Ableton Live's IR measurement tool. I'll also briefly discuss Logic's impulse response utility. First, let's talk about convolving and deconvolving sine sweeps. A recorded sine sweep cannot be directly used in convolution software. It needs to be deconvolved into a usable IR. The manual for Logic's impulse response utility describes the deconvolution process. The recorded file contains all the echoes and reflections. In other words, the response of space stretched out over the length of the sine sweep. This is very different from the starter pistol approach, where the response is contained at the beginning of a file in an impulse. When you use a sine sweep, this must be deconvolved. The impulse response utility uses a process called deconvolution to time align and level align all recorded reflections that are present over the entire recorded sine sweep into the very beginning of a file. This results in an impulse response that Space Designer can use to combine or convolve with your audio signal. To use the impulse response utility, start by selecting a speaker mic configuration. I'll choose mono. Arm your input track and generate the sweep. You'll be prompted to name and save your IR. To load this into a convolution reverb, you'll need to deconvolve. This will extract the information from the sine sweep and convert it to a transient. Trim up the beginning and end for better accuracy. It helps to zoom in as much as possible. You can audition what your IR will sound like by hitting the Audition tab. Here you have a few different test samples to choose from.
Hey!
Hey!
You'll need to save again by hitting Save Space Designer Setting. By default, your deconvolved IR is saved to your User, Music, Audio Music Apps folder. Locate the file in this directory, and then load away. Live's IR measurement tool makes this process even simpler, as it will deconvolve as part of the saving process. Let me go ahead and demonstrate how this is done. I'll start by dragging the IR measurement tool from the browser to an audio track. On the audio track with the IR measurement tool, I'll set the monitor mode to in and record arm the track. I'll leave the IR measurement tool set to default values. The only thing I'll need to change is channel from true stereo to mono to stereo, as I'm only using one speaker. If you were recording in stereo, you would choose the channel to true stereo option. On the right of the plugin, click the input. Now push the sweep button to send out the sweeping sine wave. A progress bar at the bottom will let you know when you're done. Now click on Save to save out the impulse response. A dialog box will come up asking you where you want to save the file. Choose a location. This will save the impulse as an audio file. Maybe save all your impulse responses in one location so that you can easily browse through them. You can also click Trim and Normalize to trim the silence out of the IR and normalize the audio level. If you need, you can go back and change some of the parameters such as the IR time for longer or shorter IR lengths, and the amp if you require more amplification.